Hello and welcome to LHA 1826. This is Comparative Higher Education, and you're watching the logistics video. This video will set you up with the tools that you need to be successful in this class. My name is Dr. Grace Cram Stevenson. This video is for students who are in section 0102 on Thursdays. If you're in class 0101, head to my YouTube channel and find that video instead. So the first thing you need to know is that we will be meeting on Thursdays. The listing in Acorn said Tuesday and Thursday, but I'll provide you with asynchronous work to complete on Tuesday on your own. The class will run from May 9th to June 13th. It's 6 weeks long. And these are synchronous Zoom classes on Thursdays, meeting at 6 p.m. Now, if you've taken a course with me before, you know I love to give students a lot of flexibility and freedom because many of you are working full-time. And so you might be asking, is it mandatory? Do I have to show up on Thursday? So for a 6-week compressed course, you do need to show up. Yes, it's mandatory. I have tried it in the past, giving students the option of coming to class, and it is not successful. So you will be there for 6 weeks in a row. Book it off now on Thursdays. I need you to make sure that you do have a working camera and a working Zoom account, working microphone, because this is a cameras on class where I expect participation. So what is a compressed class? How does this differ from a regular class in the full semester? Well, a regular class has 12 weeks. Each week you might have 3 to 4 readings, and at the end of class you might have 2 weeks to write your paper. But a compressed class is half of that. So we have 6 weeks of class, 1 to 2 weeks to write our paper. And sometimes it's going to feel like you have a deadline every week, because you do have a deadline every week. The deadlines come quickly. But I do provide space for you to accomplish your work in class. For instance, group work, I will be giving you time at the end of each class to do your group work. So what is our schedule? Well, at 6 p.m., we'll meet on Zoom. And for the first half hour, we're going to tackle those questions that you've had coming out of the readings. What is it that really puzzled you? What did this remind you of? What interests you in these readings? There are dense readings in this class because it is a historic class looking at higher learning throughout time. And so you will have questions and I want you to bring them. I don't have a participation mark, but as it is with professors, we remember who participates, whether we try to or not. At 6:30, we're going to break out for a roundtable discussion. And this is where you're going to present a learning activity you've done in response to a reading and ask your group mates questions to facilitate a discussion in a breakout room. After that, we'll take a break, and the final 45 minutes will be your group work time. This, of course, can be rescheduled if everyone in the group agrees to a different time. The only caveat is you must email me so that I know you're meeting some other time just to make sure that we stay on top of the work. So are you worried that I'm going to give you 8 readings or 6 readings every week because it's half of a regular class? Well, I did try that when I first started teaching these, and it did not go well. We all kind of panicked. So instead of 6 readings or 8 readings, I'm going to give you 4 each week. And I do expect you to complete these and bring your questions to class. You will have 2 different lists on Quarkus to choose from in the module section, and you'll pick the readings that are of interest to you, and I'll give you an overview in the intro lecture for that week. And the 2 lists are designed to make sure that you cover the key topics I'd like you to cover. After you do all the readings, pick one and dive into it with a learning activity. This assignment is detailed on Quarkus under the Assignments tab. It's under the Learning Portfolio. Now, after you've done that learning activity, 1 week in the semester, you will present your learning activity and host a discussion with your classmates. So what are our assignments? The roundtable discussion is a completion grade. If you show up, you get your 5%. Show up and do the work. Show up and lead this presentation. Yeah. Your learning portfolio is worth 10% for the first part. And this is when I ask you to hand in one of your slides early so that I can kind of look at it and make sure you're on the right track. You will have a paper proposal for this class so that we can get you started on the paper fairly early. Then your group presentation is due May the 31st, and your final section of your learning portfolio is due June the 12th. Your final paper, I've given you a bit of extra time until June 23rd. So it's a later date so that you have all the time you need. But again, you have to get it to me by that date so I can mark your papers. So the final paper, what are we doing with that? Well, start brainstorming ideas right now. Things move so quickly that you need to generate ideas. immediately. But just write them down. We don't need to finalize anything until your proposals due. But anything that sparks in these early readings, anything you've read recently coming out of a different class, is there a topic that you've read about recently that you thought, oh, I'd love to know how that works in a different country or a different culture? Are you interested in how religion impacts higher learning historically? Are you interested in student protests around the world or how right-wing conservative institutions of higher learning, rise and fall? Whatever it is, we can do it in this class. So that date of June 23rd, how flexible is that? Well, if you've taken a course with me before, you know I do not like extensions. They delay my marking. I also have deadlines, and you need to finish this course. I also know that students can get their work done because I used to sort of set a deadline and everyone would ask for extensions. So then, the next year I'd back it up and they ask for extensions, but get it done when I kind of needed it. So I could set the deadline for the 17th of June, and then you'd all ask for extensions. But how about we just agree that you'll do your work and you'll get it done by June 23rd? I would appreciate that. That being said, if you have a genuine life crisis, please ask me for an extension, ideally a week beforehand. I don't actually penalize anyone for late grades, but I do need to know that you are working on the work. Okay. And don't be nervous. I know that's an intimidating statement, but don't be nervous about assessments. I'm not trying to catch anyone. I actually want you to get a paper that motivates you and that really helps you to look at some topic you haven't been able to explore yet. If there's some big quality problem with your portfolio or your proposal, I will give you a second chance with those two. We can work on it until we get it to a place that you're happy with and that I'm happy with. So at this point, I would have some questions if I were you. So I've opened a section on Quarkus under the discussion board. It's a discussion board called Questions About the Course. If you have logistical questions, broken links, inconsistencies, mistakes I've made in the syllabus, please put them there so that we all get our question answered really, really fast. This is really important with such a speedy class. We need those questions answered for everyone quite quickly. But personal questions, extensions, illnesses, anxiety about assignments, please email me directly and we'll set up a time to meet. I really do feel that one-to-one consultations are really important, particularly in grad school where you're pursuing your own interests in research. So please ask at any point. I will also have a booking page for office hours for me that you can sign up for. So now what are we going to do before our first class on May the 9th? What's the plan? Well, first, please go to Quarkus. Find the module section and look at the introduction activities. There are several things you need to get done before we meet on Thursday, May 9th, and these will take you 1.5 to 2 hours. So please book that time now. Read through the syllabus, read through all the assignments, particularly the learning portfolio. If you've not taken a class with me, you need to watch through that presentation so that you can figure that out. There are 2 videos to watch in the introduction section, my video on the intro to this topic, and an interview with Dr. Hayhow that really helps explain why she developed this course. You're going to read an article, This Barrier Between, that I wrote with Shakina Rajendram in CTL, that's another department at OISE. And we had a fascinating time comparing the United Arab Emirates and Malaysia and how different students from different minority groups were positioned at Western Branch campuses. So please read that. It's a kind of a classic piece of comparative education, looking at 2 countries, 1 issue, and really considering culture and context. Now, after you read it, I want you to answer the questions I've put on Quarkus and bring one of those to a breakout discussion group to meet your peers. You're going to complete the intro form. This is particularly important because I actually divide you into groups based on what you put on this. So please make sure this is done before the first class. And you're going to book a one-to-one meeting with me so we can set your learning goals and begin to brainstorm final paper ideas. You're going to sign up for your roundtable presentation, just one. And then get out a Word document and start filling it with ideas for a final paper. We can talk about them, but I want you to take some risks, get excited. No ideas are bad ideas. I'm really looking forward to getting to know all of you. I'll see you in class on May 9th, and until then, have a great day. Bye.